Hi, this is Happy Bird from happybirdscraftinghaven.com, and today I'm going to show you how to make this beautiful little tassel angel. She was very easy to make, and I think she really turned out to be very sweet looking. And of course there are many options that you can use for wings and halos, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. However, I'm just going to show you how I made this little angel using a metal filigree butterfly connector and a crystal rondelle spacer bead. So I'll go ahead and get started. Now, when I first started out, I really wasn't too sure what type of yarn I wanted to use. So I found this in my stash. This is the Vanna's Choice brand, and this was in a 4 medium. And I liked the nice bright white color, so I thought, well, maybe this will work. So I went ahead and made a tassel, and although this would look really cute on some other projects, I just felt like the yarn was just a little too thick. This reminded me more of a ghost than it did an angel. So I tried to go for something a little more delicate. And so I pulled this out of my stash, and this is yarn that I bought at Michael's, and it had been sitting in there for a while. This is a number 2 fine, and although I think the width of the yarn would have been fine for the angel, I didn't care much for the sparkly face, and so I decided not to go with that one. And if you compare this white with the silver in it compared to this white, this looks kind of dingy, and I really wanted to go for a bright white color. So the next thing I did was I pulled out some macrame type cord that you would use for your bracelets, and I didn't like this at all because the knot was very bulky and I had to tie it really tight. It was difficult for the knots to stay knotted, and this just flared up, and I ended up with something that looked kind of like Cousin It from the Addams Family, so I decided not to go with that. So then I went down to Michael's and I looked around, and I found this. It was $4.99, and of course this will make a ton of angels, and you can use your coupon if you want it a little cheaper. This is 100% mercerized cotton, and it is in the color Snow, and this is in the number 3 light, and it's almost like string. And that's exactly what I used for this, and I think it turned out just perfect. So I really like this. This is Patton's brand, Patton's Grace. Yeah, and it's 100% mercerized cotton. So be sure to get that. If you don't have this particular brand, of course, you can always go by what's written on this label and just find something that is similar. So at first I was going to purchase some tassels online, because you can do that. You can purchase them on eBay or Etsy, or you can find them in your local craft store, but I decided not to do that for a couple of reasons. But the main one is because I wanted to show you how to make your own tassels, and you can do it with cardboard. I just took 2 pieces of cardboard. This was in the back of a writing pad, and I cut out 2 pieces. This is roughly 3 inches by a little over 4 inches, and I glued these 2 pieces together with turbo tacky glue, Aleene's turbo tacky glue. And of course, the minute I put them together, they started to curl, so I took a heavy book and I laid the book on top and kept it there for about a day. And when I took it off, of course, it was perfectly straight. And you're going to need a little clip like that, okay? So to start with, I'm going to take this off. I'm going to hook a piece of the string right here, just on the side, like that, okay? And I'm going to unravel some of this string here. Alright. And so I'm going to wrap this around. I'm not going to pull super tight. I'm just going to pull it normally to where it wraps around nicely. And you can count it if you want. This is 1, 2 full loops. 3, 4, 5, 6. You want to make sure it's nice and that you wrap it around nice and firm. 7, but not really super tight. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and of course 13. You can also use more the thicker you want the angel to be. 14, 15. Get some of this string out here. 16, 17, 18. More string. 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. I think I'm going to do it about 30 times. I think that will work out just perfectly. So, I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut the string off right here at the bottom. Okay. And then I'm going to cut a piece of string separately. I'll lay this down like this. And I'm going to kind of gently lift this so I can kind of slide this string underneath. And that's one of the reasons why you want to pull, or you want to wrap it firmly but not super tight. If this was super tight, it would be impossible to get under there. Okay, so now this string right here, this is going to be the top of the angel right here. That's what it's going to end up being. So we're going to just kind of move it up to the top like that. And I'm going to tie this at the top like this, just an overhand knot like that. And if it's okay if it slides down a tiny bit. You want to keep it as close as you can to the top, but it's all right. It'll do that. And then the second overhand knot, I'm just going to make a couple of them like this. And then put my finger on that while I'm pulling. Okay, so I'm going to do that, and I'm going to snip a little bit of this off. I'm not going to tie it completely, but I'm just going to do a really super loose loop here to remind me that this is the top. Okay, with the strings like that. I'm just going to put a really loose loop. You don't want to tie it. Okay, so now I'm taking this off, and we're going to slide this off like so, very carefully. And So I'm taking the bottom part off. I'm going to be careful because I want all of this together, alright? Now you're going to even it up to where this is the top part right here, okay? And you're going to lay this down like so. Let me move this over. Lay this down like so, okay? And I'm going to take another piece of white string. Doesn't matter the length. And I'm going to tie it off where I think that her head should be. And so I think about here would be fine. Tie that pretty tight, and then I'm going to make 2 overhand knots like this. Now hold on and tie that tightly. Okay, so then now, once I have that tight, I'm just going to wrap it around 1, 2, 3, 4 times roughly, and then tie it off with the other end. And I'm just going to make just a couple of small and tight knots here. And we'll be covering that anyway with some bling. You don't have to, but I think it looks nicer. Okay, so now I'm going to snip this off. Okay. And of course we still have to cut through all this at the bottom. Gonna separate it best you can. So now I put my scissors in like this, and I just cut. And you're gonna decide which side looks the best as far as a face. I think one side always looks a little better than the other, so I'm going to use this side. And then I'm just going to shake this out a little. And you may find that there's a few that missed the cut. Okay, and then you're going to trim it up a little bit at the bottom, but don't trim it up too much. You won't be able to get it 100% perfect at the bottom. So don't make the mistake of starting to trim and then thinking, oh, this edge here needs to be a little shorter. Oh, now this edge needs to be shorter. And then before you know it, half your tassel is gone. So just kind of straighten them out, smooth them out the best you can. And just cut as evenly as you can, like so. Like that, okay? Shake it out again a little bit. Okay. Now I'll put the butterfly, the angel hands on at the very last. I used the metal filigree butterfly connectors, and if you type this word into any online site such as eBay or Etsy, you'll get a lot of these little butterflies that pop up, and I'll show you an example of some. I'm not really worried about so much about the size, because you could actually use different sizes and they would look pretty cute. This particular one here, this is what I used, and I used a paint pen to color it gold. at the widest part of the wings. It is roughly, I want to say 42 millimeters, and that's at the widest point. Here's an example of some wings that I ordered online, and you can see there's a fairly large difference, but this would also look just as cute on the back. See? So, and this particular one is more like 55 or close to it millimeters. So you can use different ones. Now all I did was I took a Krylon Gold leafing pen, and let's see, what did I do with my plastic thingy? It's not here. Oh, here it is. I just pressed down like this and just colored it gold. And I did it on the back too. And then I allowed it to dry. And gave it, you know, a couple hours to dry and to set. See, like so. See, that's a pretty gold color. Okay, so I'm going to set that down over here for now, because I made one up ahead of time, so it would be all nice and dry. And put my pen back. You can also use a regular paint pen. It doesn't have to be the 18 karat gold leafing pen. And let's see. So this is the one that I did ahead of time. And you notice there's some little tiny sparkles here and there. You don't have to, but if you want to, you can add stickles or something like the Deco Art Craft Twinkles, which is what I happen to use. I just put a little dab on my finger and just kind of patted it like that. I didn't get too crazy with it because you don't want it to look, you know, like it has goop on it or anything like that. Just to give it a little sparkle. Or you can just completely leave that off altogether. It's up to you. Now I decided that for the halo I would use these little 12 millimeter crystal rondelle spacer beads. And I did see these at Michael's. They have them hanging up with the rest of the spacer beads. I've also seen these on eBay and Etsy. They're the 12 millimeter, and if you type in the words crystal rondelle spacer beads and then put 12 millimeter at the end, or 12 mm, you should have all sorts of these pop up online. Okay. For the little neckband here, I just used some Recollections bling that I picked up at Michael's and just cut it off. But I'll start with the wings, and I like to use the E6000. I thought about using the hot glue, but then I thought, no, I want to make sure that it really sticks, it really stays on. So I'm going to put a little dab of the E6000 on here. And I like the little jewelry, the little tiny tubes that you use when you're making jewelry, because it just seems to have so much better control over it. So I'm going to put this right here on the back and make sure I have it where I want it, which is here. Okay. About like that, where it's under her neckline a little bit. and I'm going to put just enough rhinestones on the front and maybe one on the back. And you know, I guess you could do this before you put the wings on, but I want to make sure that there's room for the wings and it's not going to be bulky for me to try to, you know, glue on the back of the angel. So this will dry really quickly. Just leave it for a little while, and I'm going to set her down upside down for a minute and take some of these little rhinestones out of this package here. And I think I'm going to take about 5 of them out. And of course you can use smaller than this if you would like. But I'm going to peel off 5 of these and cut it. Yeah. And I'm going to take one of these and with my, I'm just going to put just the tiniest dab. You can use a toothpick to do this if you'd like. It would probably be a little easier. And I'm just going to put one right here on her neck, like that, and the back. That's the back of her neck. And I think I'm not going to put this glue on every single one, but maybe like just on the ends, on both ends. Because it already has adhesive. I just want to make sure it sticks. There we go. Okay, I'm going to turn it over and start right here on the side of the neck and then go all the way around. And that should dry fairly quickly. Okay. I'm going to hold it there for a little while, but it will definitely stick. Okay. And so I would, you know, allow that to dry a little bit before, you know, moving forward with the other things. Now for her halo, and I did the same thing with the halo. Remember this little knot here that we didn't really tie, I just looped together? Yeah. Well, that's because I wanted to be able to slide this on. Now, if you don't want to use these metal filigree wings, you can use the wings that I showed you how to make when we made the little pom-pom angel. That would look just as cute on the back, and I have the pattern for that. If you choose not to use this for the halo, you can use a little iridescent pipe cleaner and wrap it around a Sharpie marking pen or something, and that'll be her little halo. You can glue that on. So I'm going to put one in at a time. And I'm hoping this does well for me, like it did the last time. It looks like this is kind of, the last angel it worked fine, so I'm hoping this does too. You know, might be easier if you're going to do this to just kind of twist it. See how I did that? I just twisted it and then it slid right on the top, just like that. Now if you want, you can use a teeny dab of glue and maybe one of the corners here to just kind of make sure that it stays in one place. See? And it goes right through those little knots that we made. Okay, so now you can go to the top and tie a little knot. There we go. Okay. So now we have this. Now we're going to make her little hands. That was easy. All I did was just took a length of string and folded it in half and then cut it. And then just kind of tried to measure it by, see, I'm wrapping it around over the top, the back of the wings like that. And I just brought the string to the front and measured about where her hands might lay. And I figured it would be about here. So then I took this back off and I just tied a little knot towards the bottom. And make sure you give yourself plenty of string when you're doing this. I mean plenty of string, because you can always trim it down, but you can't. See, I'm probably going to need more string, because you can always trim it down, but you can't add more. So, okay, so I'm going to do this again. And it's good that I show you all these little tricks, so when you're making yours, you can say, oh yeah, I remember. See, I made this pretty long. I probably did a little overkill on this, but that's okay. Okay, so what happened to that bottom piece? There we go. Wondered where it went. Okay, so I'm going to stretch that out. There, see the little knot? And I'm just going to trim it here at the end. Okay, so I'm going to slip this through the top to go. See, there she is. And then this will go on the, see, the back of her, right over that rhinestone we put on the back. And then I'm just going to take my E6000 and pull this back up, and just with the tiniest amount, just a tiny little dot of E6000 I'm going to put back here just to make sure that it just stays there. Okay, and straighten it out on the front. There she goes. Okay, and her arms may be a little long there. I might have to adjust it, but that's okay. You can go back and do that. But I think she turned out pretty cute. And I also added a little heart on the back of her wings. This is by Recollections. You know, you don't have to do this. This is just something added. And what did I just do with the quilter? Oh, here it is. Okay. So I'm just putting a little dab of the E6000. And, you know, once again, the only reason I use E6000 is I want to make sure it sticks. And it doesn't come off. And especially if you're, you know, making these for little gifts or fundraisers, you don't want it to come off. That is just the fix. And then, of course, I have these little red heart rhinestones that I picked up at the Dollar Tree during Valentine's Day. And these have really come in handy with a lot of different projects. They've had them at the Dollar Tree the last couple of years in a row, so I think they might have some more this Valentine's Day. So if you have a Dollar Tree near you, be sure and pick them up, because they really do come in handy for more than just Valentine's Day. Okay, so I put a little bit of E6000 on the back of that heart, and I put a little heart in her wings. So that's about it. And like I said, I'll probably go back and adjust her arms maybe just a tiny bit, but you get the general idea on how to make her, and you can incorporate your own ideas into this, as well as you know, maybe, like I said, you know, you may prefer to use a different type of wing. This is made out of felt, and you can also cut out little heart shapes from lace and stiffen them and use them as wings. There's just so many different things that you can do. So if you decide to make these, be sure and let me know and send me pictures. I'm changing my email address from happybirdscraftinghaven@gmx.com to happybirdscraftinghaven@gmail.com. I decided to do it this way because my account, my regular account, is through Gmail, and it's just nice to have everything in one place. So from the time I post this video, please send any email that you have, whether it include photos of your crafts or whatnot, to happybirdscraftinghaven@gmail.com. And you can see these two together, and you could tell this one here, her arms are a little too long, so I'm going to retie this knot to make it a little closer up at the top. But I'll go ahead and take pictures of these and post them on my blog. Okay? And if you can, please stop by my Facebook page at Happy Birds Crafting Haven Inspirations. I'd love to see you there. And thank you so much for watching. Love and God bless you all. Bye-bye.